Hi and welcome to this week's Mortgage Broker broadcast. This week's podcast is looking at getting rid of those distractions as a self-employed mortgage broker and taking action. So what do I mean by that? Well, when you're employed as a mortgage broker, you're told where to go, when to go, how long are you going to be there for. Day in, day out, your employer tells you what to do. So you are micromanaged and you show up day in, day out at a time they tell you to, and where they tell you to. So you dream about becoming a self-employed mortgage broker. You can do then what you want to do, when you want to do it, where you do it, and how long for. You can create this freedom. And then you just go self-employed. You now have that freedom. However, it's what you do with that newfound freedom that is so important. So that's what I want to focus on in this week's podcast, and that's what I want to talk about. So let's just get into it. You're listening to the Mortgage Broker broadcast with me, Craig Skelton, the podcast which helps mortgage brokers at all stages of their mortgage broking career. More and more mortgage brokers are going self-employed for various reasons, and one of the reasons for experienced brokers to go self-employed is for freedom. They want to build their own brand, they want to build their own business, which is great, and it's amazing that they have these plans. The issue that can be and the issue that comes up when you go self-employed is that you've been employed for such a long time and you're used to being employed. You have those employed habits, told where to go at what time, how long that meeting is going to last, whether that meeting is important or not is irrelevant. You don't get a choice in that. You're told what to do. You have those employed habits. So when you realize your freedom, what do you do now? Who is going to tell you what to do, where to go, when to do it? It's what you do with that now that's so important moving forward, because most brokers, when they're first starting out in the self-employed journey, are based from home. A lot of brokers are working remotely, which has its benefits. However, at home, there are so many distractions. The sofa, the jobs around, those little jobs around the house that need doing, that your partner's desperate for you to get into and started and completed. The latest box set on Netflix is another distraction. Scrolling through social media are all distractions when you're self-employed as a mortgage broker working from home. But what I don't get is that for so long you've been working on somebody else's business, showing up when they tell you to, told when to go home, told where you need to be, with none of those distractions. But now you're working from home, working on your own business, you can get distracted, you can drift, and you don't take action because no one else is holding you accountable, and you can lose that discipline. So these three things will help you maintain that focus and take action. The three things I want to look at is about not losing certain employed habits, structuring your days and weeks, and lastly, getting rid of those distractions and taking action. So the first point is about not losing certain employed habits, which when you're starting out as a self-employed mortgage broker, there's certain things, certain employed habits that you shouldn't lose. And yeah, I can hear you saying, Craig, I went self-employed for a reason. I wanted to get rid of that employed world, and I get that, but there are certain habits that you want to lose, absolutely, and rightly so. You need to lose certain employed habits. However, some employed habits are good in terms of working day and getting stuff done. You don't have Netflix and your sofa as a distraction when you're employed. You don't have things that need to be done around the house when you're employed. And you don't have that opportunity to lose hours of your day scrolling endlessly through social media. So when you was employed, you had a job to do. You still do when you're self-employed. So it's just making sure that you continue to not losing all the employed habits, and making sure that you show up when you should be showing up and get the actions done, getting the task done that you need to get done. So the second point moving on to that then is looking at what are your structured hours, what are your working hours. You had working hours when you were employed, and I'm not sort of saying you should be really strict with those hours. Absolutely, you need to have a degree of flexibility. However, when you're first starting out and you're going through that transition from being employed to self-employed, I always find it benefit to set out your core working hours and working day. Like I said, yes, those can change. Absolutely, they can be flexible. However, if you have core hours each week, each day, they will help you make sure that you turn up for your business, which is important, to make sure that you turn up when you say you're going to turn up for your business, and do not get distracted with all the other things that can distract you, being working from home and being self-employed. And lastly, my point is not just about turning up, it's about getting stuff done. So taking action. It's your business now. That's what you need to remember, and that's what needs to motivate you. It's your name above the door. So it's about what you wanted to do. You wanted to be self-employed. You wanted this. So now that it's for you, now that it means so much more, now it's your business and your name above the door, why would you not take action more than ever before? I'm not talking about paper shuffling, which is something I've talked about in the past. Making yourself feel busy, making you feel as though you've done something today by just shuffling paper and doing those meaningless tasks. It's about getting things done and the important things that you want to get done. So, like I say, I'm not talking about just shuffling the paper that makes it feel as though you've sort of taken some action. I'm talking about planning your day, planning what you need to do, what you need to get done, what you need to do to move your business forward, what you need to do to grow your business. And do not look for excuses in terms of that. So when you are reviewing at the end of the day, make sure you did what you said you was going to do. It's about holding yourself accountable. Nobody is going to hold you accountable now for your business, for your working day, which is what you've been used to for such a long time. If you're used to being employed, it doesn't matter what industry you've come from. If you've been an experienced broker or totally new to industry, if you're used to being employed, you're being told what to do and you're used to showing up and your employer holds you accountable. If you're now self-employed, who is holding you accountable? It's about holding yourself accountable for you, your business growth, and your actions. It's all about taking action to make sure that you are holding yourself accountable. So just to recap, do not lose those self-employed habits. Set out your working hours and working days and make sure you get stuff done. Make sure you're taking action day in, day out. So the takeaway for me from this podcast is it's now your business. It's what you wanted. You are self-employed and you need to turn up day in, day out, week in, week out, like you did when you was employed. And taking action will make you feel motivated. Growing your business will motivate you. So thank you for listening to the podcast. Any thoughts, feedback or comments, put in the chat please in whichever platform you listen to or watch this podcast. If you're thinking about becoming a self-employed mortgage broker or looking at setting up your own mortgage broker brand and business, or if you're looking to accelerate your existing mortgage broker business, then get in touch so we can discuss how I can help and support you achieve your goals. And don't forget to run your own race. Thank you for listening to the Mortgage Broker Broadcast, the podcast which helps mortgage brokers at all stages of their mortgage broking career. If you have any questions about this podcast or any topics you want us to discuss, or if you're interested in working with me further, then please get in touch.